Grand rising and welcome to New Mind, where our intention is clear and is to share information for transformation. Before we begin, I want to do something I haven't done in a while. I want to reintroduce myself because I know there's a lot of people listening to this that have been with me for years. And there are probably people listening right now who have absolutely no idea who I am. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to reintroduce myself. So, hi, my name is Sam Nagash, and I'm the founder of New Mind. I'm a certified master coach and practitioner, an alignment and breakthrough specialist. And for almost a decade now, I've been doing work around that. In one form or another, it all comes back to the same fundamental question. What actually creates the quality of a human life? Why can two people have similar circumstances and experience completely different realities? Why can someone consciously want success, abundance, love, and freedom, while subconsciously continuing to sabotage the very thing they say they want? And why do so many intelligent, capable, successful people know what they should do, but still can't seem to get themselves to consciously do it? And honestly, guys, that's really where my work lives, the mind, the unconscious mind, which is where we hold our belief systems, the conditioning, the identity, the subconscious, or I like to call it the unconscious patterns underneath our behavior. And honestly, I've been so grateful because I've worked for years with high performers around the world, entrepreneurs, traders, executives, leaders, people building businesses, people building wealth, but also people simply trying to build a better version of themselves. And what I've come to believe more and more deeply in this experience is something I always say. If you've heard me, you will have heard me say this before, is freedom starts in the mind. Because you really can change your environment, you can change your relationships, you can change your job, your career, you can change the amount of money in the bank. But if you bring the same unconscious mind into the circumstances, being it new or current, eventually you begin recreating the same patterns. That's why it's called New Mind. That's why my brand and this beautiful divine intention was born. Because sometimes a new life requires a new mind. And today's conversation is very much connected to that. So here we go, guys. Buckle up. I was listening to a teaching recently from Bashar. Now, if you've never heard of Bashar, let me give you a 30-second version. Bashar is the name given to a consciousness that Daryl Anka says he channels. Now, Daryl has been publicly sharing these teachings for decades. And look, guys, you can believe in channeling. You can think it's extraterrestrial consciousness. You can think it's Daryl's accessing, some part of his own mind. You can think whatever you want to think. The entire concept is completely out there. And I know, trust me, I was one very skeptical in the beginning, but I'm not actually interested in how or where or when and where is he bringing this information for or from. Because when I hear something useful, when I hear something that resonates with me, that's all that matters to me. So do I agree with every belief surrounding the person saying it? Maybe yes, maybe no. But my question is there truth here? And can that be used for me and for my tribe? For me, I always ask, does this make me think? Does it expand my perspective? Does it help me understand myself differently? Does applying it make my life better? And there was a framework in this particular teaching that's really stopped me. And I've heard this over and over for many, many years. And honestly, guys, I've applied it myself in the last decade. And I have personally seen amazing results from it. And I've obviously coached this with my existing tribe, my community, my clients, and I've seen it also have a very, very positive impact in their life. And this is why I'm sharing this with you guys today. And today's a special episode, by the way, because today we have hit the mark of 100 episodes, that is both public and private. And we've hit the mark of a 90 public episode. Today is my 90th episode that is public. And when I say public, private, I have private content that is for my subscribers, that people subscribe. They get access to certain content, which I'm going to be sharing more and more of these private content. So for you, my beautiful listener, if you want to go deeper in the conversation, if you want to ask certain questions that I get sometimes DMs on or email to, I cover that in my private closed community within the stream of New Mind. But today, guys, it's not about that. This is for everyone. And my intention is really to share here as much as I can in the time that I spend. So thank you again for being here. And thank you for tuning in and making the time. So here we go. 5 steps. And when I heard them, I honestly thought there's a lot here that sometimes overlaps with what we talk about in my work, and because of my background and my knowledge and my practitioner levels, where I work a lot in beliefs and fear and alignment and identity and, letting go of control and learning how to interpret life differently. So I want to give you those 5 principles as I understood them, and I'll break them down a little bit more, bringing in a little bit of new mind element into it. And I want to unpack this with you because, again, guys, it's not as a gospel, not as something you have to believe, but something that you can take away from today's conversation. I want you to think about it and see how can this be relevant for you. Sitting down right now, whether you're driving, having a cup of coffee, walking, listening to this episode, wherever you are, just make sure that you're taking some mental notes, or maybe even taking a pen and paper if you're at home, because I believe that there's going to be a lot of value in this for you. And this could be life-changing. Oh, and I'm not saying this lightly, because it's important to, understand that there's an application side to it. Information alone is not going to change your life, but if I apply it, it's going to definitely make an impact. So making note, being aware, and then applying is the name of the game. Okay. So number 1, and these are the principles that he speaks about, again, that I've personally witnessed that has impacted my life in a very positive way across my businesses and my personal life. So the first principle is basically you need to act first and foremost on whatever contains the greatest excitement or passion for you. And I really love this because the way Bashar explains it is that the bodily sensation, this inner feeling, this emotion that you feel in your body, we interpret it as passion or excitement is essentially information. It's a signal, right? So his interpretation is that excitement is the physical translation of your true nature communicating with you. Your true nature that's basically communicating and speaking to you. So it's almost like your soul saying, this is you, this is the direction, this is curiosity, it's this idea. So it's like the direction. So you need to pay attention to this, right? So ask yourself, how often do I get excited? What are the areas of my life that excites me? This is things that I want you to start paying attention to. Now, whether you want to use this word soul, intuition, nervous system, subconscious mind, whatever language works for you, I think there's something incredibly powerful here. Because how many times have you known what excited you and admittedly overridden it? Like, this doesn't make sense, or it won't make enough money, or what will everyone think? Or maybe it's too late, or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I'm not qualified. I should do something more sensible, or, we always fall into these unconscious, or should I say, automatic responses that is designed to keep us in the familiar, designed to keep us in a comfort zone, right? But it's important to remember that impulse, that excitement that I'm speaking of is something that is required you to pay attention to and to really be conscious of and take seriously. And, somewhere along the way, a lot of people become extremely skilled at ignoring themselves. And I've been doing this working with many, obviously, clients over the years, and it becomes, an automatic response where they just suppress. And I want you now, my beautiful listener, wherever you are, and I'm so grateful for you again to be here and listening to this and taking this information in, to think about that. You spent years learning how to hear everybody else's voice and almost no time learning how to hear your own. You know, we always grow up in conditioning. You hear me say this word a lot, which is, you know, your parents, your culture, your society, social media, whatever industry you're in, your friends, what success is supposed to be like. That's what we are always being subconsciously or consciously fed. And eventually we stop asking, what actually makes me feel alive? One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. Now, I'm not saying go quit your job tomorrow because, you know, pottery makes you happy. I'm not saying that. I'm just making you aware of this impulse. So we need to, you know, use some intelligence here. Following excitement doesn't mean becoming irresponsible. It means treating genuine excitement as information worth investigating. What's pulling you? You know, what's creating this sense of fascination to you? What idea keeps coming back to you? What conversation can you have for 3 hours with a friend or a family member or whoever, and you don't even notice the time? What would you explore if nobody was judging you? You know, these are important questions, guys. So maybe passion isn't always telling you where you'll spend the next 20 years. Maybe it's simply revealing, here's the next step. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. Just getting that impulse, that pulse, that direction. Okay, so that is, let's call that what I just covered here as the principle number 1. Okay, there's 5. I'm going to be sharing 5 with you guys. Okay, so remember, principle 1 is act on what you are most passionate about. And guys, I've always done this in my business, in my New Mind Wellness brand, with the products we bring in and the retreats we do, the workshops I do, the programs I create. I'm always focusing, does this bring me to life? You know, when I'm working with someone, it's very important that that person also is someone I resonate with. And I feel like, okay, I've got a calling to work with that person. I'm excited to work with that person, to help that person. So excitement for me is something that has to almost always be present in some shape or form. Okay. So if you're writing this down or if you're making mental notes, here we go with number 2. Take it as far as you can. So whatever that excitement is that we spoke about, whatever that impulse, whatever that direction, whatever that thing, take it as far as you can. Then the second part of this formula says, once you identify the excitement, right? Once you are aware of it, act on it to the best of your ability and take it as far as you can until you genuinely cannot take it any further. And there's a very important distinction here, guys, because sometimes excitement naturally changes. You were obsessed with something 6 months ago and you were genuinely complete excitement there, you know, with it. But then all of a sudden, you get turned off from it. You complete the excitement, and that's fine. That's also allowed. So you are not necessarily having to continue that path. If the excitement dies, that's a sign that it's not there for you to pursue anymore. And that's allowed. Not every passion needs to become a lifelong identity. Some things enter your life simply to introduce you to the next thing. But here's the question you have to ask yourself. Did my excitement actually disappear? Or did fear appear? And guys, I can tell you this from working with clients, and releasing fear is one of my main core things that I do at my work. It's more often than not the fear that sort of kills that momentum and acts as like, oh, I'm not really excited about it. But actually the fear is what overshadows it. Because those two things get confused all the time. You know, for example, I don't think I want to launch this business anymore. Okay. Did you lose interest? Or are you scared nobody will buy? I don't think I want to publish this book. Now, here we go. Did the passion go away? Or are you afraid people might criticize it? I don't think this opportunity feels right anymore. I'm sure you've heard yourself say that or someone you know. Maybe it's true. Or did your nervous system suddenly realize, oh shit, this might actually work? Because fear doesn't always tell you, I'm afraid. Fear is so smart, guys. It's so clever. Sometimes fear says, I've lost interest. Timing isn't right. I need to prepare a little more, maybe next year. I'm just trying to be realistic here, you know? So before abandoning something you once felt deeply aligned with, you ask yourself, is the excitement actually gone? Or have I dampened it with fear-based belief? Or maybe more than one belief, because sometimes it's more than one belief that's, bringing it down. And that's a very different conversation, guys. Take the excitement as far as it naturally wants to go. Then let the next step reveal itself. All right. So that's me recapping on point number 2, which is take it as far as you can. Remember, act on the best, the ability towards it, and take it as far as you can. All right. Now we're jumping into 3. So if you're following here and making mental notes, write this down. Write this down, even if it's just a little note, because trust me, guys, if you apply this formula, it is going to change your life. And again, don't say this lightly because I'm the proof of it. All right. So, and honestly, this might be my favorite, number 3. Always number 3. The 3 is my lucky number, 33 and 3, just FYI. So Bashar's third principle that he discussed, that shared, was act on the passion with zero insistence that the outcome must look a particular way. And I find this to be so hard for many people. And I've said this on my Instagram. Actually, the other day I did a reel discussing about letting go, And this is the most difficult part because we love control. It's known in our human design, like we love control. We say, I'm going to follow my passion, but here's exactly how life needs to reward me for doing it. And that's not surrender, guys. That's a contract negotiation. We want to know, when will it work? How much money will I make? Will this person choose me? Will the opportunity happen? How many followers will I get? Will everybody approve? And guys, we've all fallen there. I'll lift my hand above you all. First, I was a victim to this before I started applying this formula. And the idea here is, guys, your physical mind doesn't actually know what the ideal outcome needs to look like. Sometimes you guess correctly, and sometimes what you want happens exactly as you imagine, and that's great. But how many times and how many things in your life looked terrible at a time, and years later you realized they redirected you to a new path, and your entire life shifted from it? The relationships that ended, the opportunity that you didn't get, the businesses that didn't work, the person who rejected you, the door that closed, all of it. And at the time, you're going, no, this was not supposed to happen to me. And then probably 6 months later or a year or 2, it's like, now I understand. So maybe, guys, the outcome can be better than the version your current mind is capable of imagining. So have the intentions. I always say this, you got to move with intention. Have the goals. It's okay. Create, work, commit, take massive action, but don't confuse commitment to the action with the attachment to the result. I'll repeat that again. Don't confuse commitment to the action with attachment to the result. And that's really powerful if you get it, as my mentor would say. And I can be completely committed to showing up without demanding that reality responds in exactly the way my ego decided it should. my way, or something better. So recapping on number 3 one more time is making sure we let go of your insistence on the outcome, how it needs to manifest. Act on the passion with zero insistence, guys, that the outcome must look a particular way. Okay. Now, if you're still making mental notes, we're moving into number 4. And the 4th principle is to remain in what Bashar calls a positive state, regardless of what manifests, so that you can extract the benefits from it. And remember, state is how you think and how you feel in your nervous system at any given moment. So now I want you to put I want to put in some new mind language around this, because stay positive can quickly become bullshit. If I'm being honest with you, no filter here, right? Sometimes things hurt. Sometimes you get angry. Sometimes you get disappointed. Sometimes something happens and you're not going to sit there going, wonderful, everything's amazing. No, that's not emotional intelligence. And suppressing negative emotions, if you've heard me speak about this, isn't transformation. But there's a difference between feeling an emotion and building an identity around your interpretation of what happened. Something can happen that I don't prefer, and I can still ask, how can I use this? What can I learn from this? What is this showing me? What belief did this expose? What boundary did I fail to set? What pattern am I allowing to repeat itself here? What is the life I got disconnected there for some reason while I'm recording at the studio. So sorry, guys. What is the life showing me? What I was saying here. What is the life showing me that I wasn't willing to see before? Right? What is life showing me that I wasn't willing to see before? This is part of the learning. This is part of the human experience. What do I know now that I didn't know yesterday? And that's power, guys, because now nothing is wasted. Even things you don't prefer become information. And I think this is one of the biggest shifts a person can make. Stop needing every experience to feel good. That's the life of polarity. And start becoming someone who can use every experience. You lose, learn. You win, learn. You get rejected, learn. You succeed, learn. Something triggers you, beautiful. That's fine. There's information there. I always say this, not because pain itself is inherently good, guys. No, but because once something has happened, you still get to decide what you're going to do with it. And the moment you ask, how can this serve me? You move from victimhood back into agency. So that is me recapping on number 4. And remember, number 4, the principle is about staying resourceful regardless of what happens. Super important so we don't keep falling out of balance and we don't become victims to our experience. Rather, we become more empowered and we're constantly learning and growing as we move forward, capturing the data, the information that allows us to continue elevating. And number 5, and maybe this is actually my personal favorite because it's so intertwined with the work I do at New Mind, which is really all about investigating your beliefs, right? You know, and looking and taking a really closer look. And then we, you know, and this is, again, this is purely New Mind territory. And this is the 5th principle, which is constantly investigate your belief systems and release the fear-based beliefs that doesn't serve you or aren't aligned with who you prefer to be. I'll repeat that one more time. Principle number 5. Constantly investigate your belief system and release the fear-based beliefs that don't serve you or aren't aligned with who you prefer to be. Okay? You can listen to that again if you need to. You can repeat that, rewind it. Super important for you to get it. So it's all about investigate your beliefs, not believe your beliefs. No. Investigate them. Because most human beings don't do that. A thought comes into mind, and because it's happening inside our head, we assume, well, it must be true. No, guys, your brain can produce absolute nonsense with tremendous confidence. We forget that. I'm sure, if you're listening to this right now and you're here all the way with me to this 5 so far, you've experienced this. We all have. And so much of what you currently believe wasn't consciously selected. You've inherited, you've absorbed it from your mother, your father, your teachers, your friends, your cultures. You've heard me say this before. Religion, society. Something happened when you were 8. Someday or somebody in that day said something when you were 12. You failed once, and when you were 22, whatever. And now at 40, you're living inside a belief that created from those experiences, from a moment when you barely thought about in 20 years ago, right? Money's hard. I'm not good enough. People leave me. I can't trust anymore. That's the decision-making process that happens from your experiences, as the brain and the mind is always assigning meaning to those experiences and making decisions. And I always say this, beliefs are decisions. That's all they are. They make subconsciously, and then they get embedded. Some of the most, common limiting beliefs that I've always see, like I said to you, I'm not good enough. Success requires suffering. People like me can't do that. If I'm visible, I'll be judged. If I fail, it means something about me. If I success, I'll lose people. Maybe some of these resonate with you. If not, even better. But just so you are aware, they're simply decisions. They're not true. These beliefs are passive. But the problem is they're filters. They influence what you notice, how you feel, what you expect, what actions you take, what actions you avoid. And eventually, they begin creating evidence for themselves. And this is why so much of my work is about reconditioning. And this is a big part of it, because changing your life without examining the beliefs creating your life is like repeatedly repeating a wall, it's like, I don't know. It's like literally you're repainting this wall and ignoring the pipe that's leaking behind it, and you're trying to fix it, but there's a pipe leaking all the time, and you keep repeating and repainting a wall all the time, and it keeps leaking. And that's what I always say to my clients, beliefs, what you believe you perceive, and what you perceive you experience. So eventually the stain and the leak will come back. And Bashar said something in this specific area that when I was listening to that honestly made me laugh. Essentially, don't be a belief thief, he said. Don't go around stealing everybody's else's belief. And I love that. I love how he said that, because it's true. Your dad's fear doesn't automatically need to become your philosophy. Your mother's limitation doesn't have to become your identity. Your industry's conventional wisdom isn't necessarily your truth. Society's definition of success doesn't have to become your life. And I want you to ask yourself, when you're challenging those beliefs, is this actually mine? And even more importantly, does this belief create the version of me and the life I actually want? If not, why are you still carrying it? And I don't want to put you on the spot, my beautiful listener, but I am. And I'm doing this with love. And I'm, with respect. But I'm challenging it. And I want you to challenge it too. And this is the part I really love. Bashar then talks about finding what uniquely works for you. Because honestly, guys, there is no existing path that works for everyone. And you have to create one. You have to take something from column A, something from B, from C, from D, and combine them. Invent your own way. I think this matters because all the time we're looking to model and follow a certain way, but you can create your own because we have access to more teachers, experts, influencers, gurus, systems, methodologies than any generation before us. And strangely, that can make us trust ourselves less. So my invite is trust yourself more. Listen to your inner being. Listen to that pulse that we're speaking of. What morning routine should I use? What diet should I take? What business strategy? What relationship model? What philosophy? What does this person say? What does that person say? I mean, that's, it's a never ending, right? And we're looking to learn from everybody, and that's okay. But ultimately, you have to live your life. And maybe, guys, maybe mastery isn't finding the perfect teacher and copying their reality. Maybe mastery is learning enough from different type of sources that eventually you become capable of thinking for yourself. And then when you discover something that works for you, you share it. Like I'm sharing this with you right now. This is a teaching, and I'm obviously elaborating on this teaching, but it has worked for me. And because it's worked for me, I have the confidence in sharing it with you today. And I'm doing that with the intention to help, with the intention for you to take something from it that you might add to your formula, to your journey, to your timeline. Not because everybody needs to become me, but because your way might unlock something for somebody else. And maybe their adaptation unlocks something for someone after them. That's what I call creation. So let me give you the whole formula again as we wrap up this episode and the conversation. 5 things. And I want you to actually think about where you're at in each one. Number 1, act on what contains the highest genuine excitement or passion available to you. What makes you feel alive? Just follow the signal, guys. Number 2, take it as far as you can, and when the excitement starts disappearing, check. Has it genuinely run its course, or is it fear that's entered the conversation? Okay? 3, act without insisting on exactly what the outcome needs to be or look like. Intention, yes, I always say that. Keep it alive. Commitment, of course, absolutely. Control over precisely how reality has to respond, just let it go, guys. And number 4, whatever manifests, find a way to use it. You don't need to look and regret anything. You need to just look at everything and see what you can learn from that. There's a message in every experience that's showing up and manifesting. Refuse to waste anything. Extract the lesson, guys. Extract the information. Extract the growth. That's the key. And number 5, investigate your beliefs constantly. What do I believe? Why do I believe it? Where did I get it from? Is it actually mine? And does it serve the person I'm becoming? Again, my domain here, one of my favorite areas of my work, and I work in very different domains, but the belief system updates, it's life-changing, and it changed my life. Can't even begin to explain. 180 degrees the moment I changed my internal deep belief system. Some of them I didn't even know I had. Limiting beliefs changes how I saw myself and how I saw the world and how I show up. This is the best gift you can give yourself, guys, without a doubt. Like, the best gift is updating your belief system. Okay. So here's what all 5 really comes down to, in my opinion, guys. And if you step back and I just zoom out, I really think they're all pointing towards one important thing. And for me, this is my take on it. It's all about becoming more fully your authentic, true self. That's it. Following what's genuinely alive for you, within you. And the idea is to stop abandoning it and to self-sabotaging it because of fear. And of course, stop needing the life to unfold according to someone else's timeline, but surrendering and accepting your own timeline. And also, very important, to stop labeling every unexpected outcome as failure, because that's that's where fear of failure comes in, and also the self-judgment, So, and more importantly, is the ability to stop carrying and updating those beliefs that I spoke about that were handed to you before you were old enough to question them. And become curious, guys, about what happens when you actually start living from who you are rather than who you were conditioned to be. That's why work of reconditioning is so important. Because maybe living your best life isn't about endlessly adding more information, more strategies, more validation. But maybe it's a huge part of it is subtraction, which is removing, right? Unlearning, removing the beliefs that aren't yours, removing the fear, the removing the insistence, removing the identity you've outgrown, removing all the noise that's preventing you from hearing yourself. And underneath all of that, there you are. You, the real, authentic, good enough version of you. That's how we were all born, guys. That's how we came into this place. That's our birthright. So I'm going to leave you with something, guys. Don't just finish this episode and move on to the next piece of content or whatever, scrolling, whatever. I want you to really take 60 seconds today and answer this question honestly. What is the thing that currently excites me most that I keep talking myself out of? And you probably already know it. When I was probably speaking now, you probably crossed your mind. What's that conversation? What's that project? What's that business? What's that creative idea? What's that experience or decision? What is the thing where something inside you keeps whispering, go. Come on, go. And another part immediately says, yeah, but that's the unconscious mind, by the way. That's probably the belief underneath it. That fear that we spoke about. I want you to question it. That's all I'm asking you to do. Then ask yourself, what's one step I can take today? Not the entire journey, just one step, that 1%. And I want you to follow that excitement. Take it as far as you can. Release your instant resistance on the outcome. And just use whatever happens. And keep cleaning up those beliefs, guys. And if you need information on how to do that, of course, that's my domain. And you are welcome to reach out anytime. But that's the formula, guys. That's it. Try it. Don't believe me. Don't even believe Bashar. Test it. Live it. See what happens. Because at the end of the day, the philosophy is only valuable to the extent that it changes the way you live. And this conversation, guys, again, my intention in this episode just hopefully made you think of somebody who's standing at the crossroads right now. Someone who's been ignoring that inner pull. Maybe someone you know, send this episode to them. Maybe it's someone you know. And please, of course, guys, subscribe so you can support the channel. But maybe this is exactly the conversation they need today. Or maybe you. And if you're new here, again, guys, follow the New Mind podcast. We're going to keep exploring the mind, beliefs, identity, conditioning, alignment, and ultimately what it actually takes to really create freedom from the inside out. I'm Sam Dagash. This is New Mind. And remember, a new life begins with a new mind. Much love and positive energy.